How do people get trapped in horrible places? I used to ask myself about that a lot, but I think I understand it better now, and from personal experience, because as I'm going to explain you in this video, I'm afraid me and most of my family and friends may end up trapped in the horrible place Brazil is turning into. That's sad, but it's true. But I used to look at places like Venezuela and think, how did that happen? How did the people there end up trapped? I mean, didn't they see the avalanche coming? And the truth is that, yes, most people probably could feel the situation getting worse. But the problem is that before the bomb actually explodes, you always hold on to hope that things will turn around for the better. Besides, it's human nature. We just don't respond well to gradual changes. I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the frog in the pot, but they say that if you put a frog in a pot and heat the water slowly, the frog won't react to the gradual change, and in the end it will get boiled alive. Now, I've never tried that nor plan to, but well, we are exactly the same. We humans are like the frog in the pot. If the change happens slowly, most of us won't realize the avalanche is coming until we are already buried under the snow. The economic disaster we see in Venezuela today is the consequence of decades of terrible economic decisions. It didn't happen overnight. Hugo Chavez didn't come to power in 1999 and establish socialism the next day. No, it happened in small changes, one at a time. The structure of society, the structure of the economy, it all gets slowly altered, little by little. It's like a leak. And most people are just too busy living their own lives, as they should be, to think about how certain laws or policies will affect them in the long run. So, the laws get passed, things keep happening, and life just goes on. Until one day when the situation becomes unsustainable, unbearable. And then it feels like it happened all of a sudden. But no, it was a process that took years. But why am I saying that Brazil is going to become a horrible place to live in and that, unfortunately, many people will likely end up stuck here? Because Brazil is heading towards economic disaster, as I've already said many times over here on my channel. In recent years, especially since the current government took over, Brazil has been spending like there's no tomorrow. The country is spending as if we were still in the middle of the pandemic. And to fund all the spending, Brazil is taking on a ton of debt, while also hiking taxes wherever it can. After all, you have to get the money from somewhere, right? And as a consequence, our currency is rapidly losing its value. Actually, the Brazilian real is one of the worst performing currencies of 2024. Besides, inflation is also going through the roof and interest rates are going up. And that's actually insane because while interest rates are going down in the US and Europe, Brazil was just forced to raise rates to 12.25% per year. And the expectations are that they will keep going up to 14%, maybe even 15%. But listen, no economy can survive that. So what I see ahead is a country with sky-high inflation, sky-high interest rates, where most of the population will just become poor. And with poverty comes more violence, more insecurity. So that's why I say Brazil will become a bad place to live in. And honestly, the signs are there for everyone to see. I don't know if the Brazilians watching this are getting ready for this economic crash, but I know I'm certainly trying to. I'm trying to buy the insurance before the house burns down. Most people, though, want to see the house on fire before having to spend any money on insurance. And you know, I feel somewhat desperate and sad because that's exactly what I see around me. The people around me can perfectly see what's happening. Everybody perceives the economic environment getting worse. Everybody sees inflation creeping in, taxes going up, the government speech becoming more aggressive towards the market. Everybody sees this, but still, they just keep going through life as if they were at Disney, not in a jungle. And Brazil is a jungle, quite literally actually. But every day there is a new tax being proposed or a new disastrous economic decision from the government. But because it has become so normal now, people treat it like gossip. People see a new tax being proposed and they are like, oh, what a shame, that's bad. But what can we do, right? And then they just forget about it. Most don't think about the damage these macro decisions will cause in their own lives in a not so distant future. But seriously, there are very few people I talk to who are actually preparing for Brazil's economic crash. Lots of people are seeing the disaster coming, but few are, for example, already selling their assets and getting ready to leave. Or like me, trying to earn income in dollars through this channel. And by the way, if you're into economics, don't forget to leave your like, and I also invite you to subscribe. But I actually started this channel months ago with the intention of exposing myself to the world, not just Brazil, because things here were already not looking good. Thus, this channel is a way for me to earn income in dollars and in a way try to shield myself from inflation. Because my friend, if you are earning in Brazilian reais, which is the Brazilian national currency, I'm sorry to let you know, but soon your salary won't buy you nothing, and you won't be able to leave because you may not even be able to afford a one-way ticket out of here. Anyway, this is how people get stuck in horrible places. I've been packing my bags since the moment I saw the enemy army on the horizon. But most see the enemy army in the distance, then let it get halfway there. Then people watch the enemy army setting up camp outside the fortress and think, they will just give up, right? Then they see the enemy trying to break down the door and think, no, they won't get inside. Next, they see the enemy breaking down the door and burning the first neighborhood. But it's too far, right? It's only when the enemy soldiers are already burning their houses down that people think, we've got a problem, I should try to run. But by then, it's already too late to do anything. Anyway, this video is just a rant. I wish I wasn't so pessimistic, but unfortunately, I think I'm just being realistic. If you are from Brazil and if you are already seeing the disaster shaping up, don't wait to see what happens. Start preparing now the way you can. If you can, well, maybe it's time to think about leaving the country somehow. I'm thinking about doing that, because later it won't help to complain that life is horrible and that I feel robbed, because you know, what did you expect was going to happen in a country run by criminals? Anyway, this is how people get stuck in horrible places. Most of them notice that things are getting worse, but they fail to act, to leave, to do something. Most people will only realize it's time to run when the monster is already at the door, and by then it will be already too late to escape. It was like this in Venezuela, it was like this in Argentina, and I believe that unfortunately it will be the same here in Brazil. Well, that's it for today. See you next time.